Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our new edition of Big Brother 23 Live Feed Spoilers. Coco is so excited to get into all of this. She's just like raring to go.
Yeah, she is. She's always ready for Big Brother.
That's right. Okay, well, we got a number of things to talk about here. We will go through the nominations, such as they are at the
Yep,
moment,
yep.
the eviction last night, the new HOH. This will be an eventful one. We've got a lot of content to cram in here.
All right, first off, let's start with the Britney eviction. This is something that we've all sort of seen coming all week, and, it played out.
This is sort of where I've ultimately landed with Britney, and I think I said this a few videos ago. It's like I like her as a person. Like, she seems like a nice enough person, like a good friend to have. Just not. I don't know if casting saw something different than what was on the show, but I don't think she was the right person for this show. I don't think she was cutthroat enough. I don't think she has like that killer instinct you need in Big Brother.
They always do cast some people that don't have that cutthroat feel to them. I think Britney was just, she's a big personality. She's a fun personality.
Yeah.
There's a lot to her. She's got her TikTok going on. She's got her black belts going on. She just has such a high, fun energy that I 100% understand why she was cast for this show. I don't think she was cast because production was looking at her thinking that she was going to be the next Dan or Will or Vanessa or something like that. I think they saw her as just this really fun, person to have on the show.
I think she's perfect for TikTok, and I don't mean that as like a dig by any means. It's like that is a platform where you go over there, you do these really fun Listen,
I wish that I had Britney's TikTok followers, or if you want to hit that subscribe button here, you can help us, maybe reach where Britney is over on TikTok.
like I just in general, I just wish I had like that kind of like TikTok dance ability. Like I can't even do this is the furthest extent of my dancing, which I don't know what that is.
Well, Britney has confidence, and I think that's one of the things that actually made her really good for this show. Doing TikTok is not that easy to put yourself out there. It's the same with YouTube. It took me a long time to really get out from behind the camera in front of the camera. It takes time to build that confidence.
Yeah.
Good for you, Britney.
Yeah, and I'll give anybody credit who wants to go into the Big Brother house and deal with everything that has going along with that.
Yep.
Well, we'll get into now the HOH of Sarah Beth, because on paper, I was really intrigued by this, because regardless of if you are a Cookout fan or not a Cookout fan, to me, I think all great alliances are better when they are tested, and I don't want to see just a straight up predictable steamroll. It's going to be that much more impressive if they are able to continually overcome adversity and still stay together.
Yeah, and the big advantage that they have here is that Sarah Beth and Kylan are extremely close. And I'm not necessarily saying that this is really Kylan's entire HOH, but these two are working together, and they have been working together very tightly for a very long time. And I know Sarah Beth is not part of the Cookout, but she is part of this duo.
And what made this so intriguing to me was this question of, okay, is she just going to fall in line with whatever Kylan wants? Is she going to kind of go rogue here? Because at first, after she won it and she was sort of going through and talking a little bit about her distrust for Xavier, I was starting to be like, oh, here is actually probably the right person for you to target. Someone who, I don't know, Xavier and Tiffany are probably two of the most likely contenders to win this entire game.
Yeah, Kylan has been able to talk with Sarah Beth to kind of move things in another direction. But to be fair to Sarah Beth, this conversation went on for hours. Like, they really, really talked through a lot of stuff. And, for the two of them being partners in this, I think Kylan really would like to go to the end with Sarah Beth.
I think in his heart of hearts he would. I would be really curious to know if he'll ever like admit that after the fact. But just listen.
I just think he thinks he can beat her.
Yeah, and I think he probably can beat her. And for anyone out there who stayed up to watch the entirety of the Sarah Beth and Kylan conversation,
give yourselves a pat on the back like this.
Yeah, you guys deserve all the pats on the bin. You are probably actually not watching this right now because you're probably just like asleep, or Kylan just talking constantly has made your brain just kind of explode outward.
Yeah, and I mean, that conversation the way that Kylan plays this conversation, in that he is spending so much time talking with Sarah Beth about it, only continues to build the bond between them and the trust between them, so that Sarah Beth does get into a position where she really feels like they are a team together and they are working together. So when they come up with decisions together, or Kylan suggests things, Sarah Beth feels like they are on the same page together.
And that's what makes all of this make a lot more sense, where Sarah Beth talked, of course, with a lot of people last night. It wasn't just the Kylan and Sarah Beth show, but of course, by the time you're done talking with Kylan for hours, it's like that's the only thing that actually really matters anymore.
Yeah, and he's, the person that it seems that she wants to go to the end with.
So ultimately here, if we're just talking straight up about this, the nominations themselves, it really, this is the funny thing, is it's basically just she copied and pasted what Kylan did this past week.
It is the exact same. So here are the nominations. Claire, Derek, who gives no F's. They are both on the block.
Yeah, and once again, I don't even know if Sarah Beth is like that gung-ho about getting rid of either one of them, just like Kylan was last week.
I'm worried a little bit about Derek F at this point and the cookout, for him being up twice, 2 weeks in a row, and he is part of a large alliance. I know that he knows that he's not part of Sarah Beth's alliance, but everybody knows that Kylan is close to Sarah Beth. I think that he could have moved that away from Derek F, and I think that Derek F will know that.
Here is where things get so unbelievably messy this week, and this is where it's even hard to speculate that much. So we have, in the High Rollers twist, the Renom roulette, and apparently this is how it's going to work. We haven't seen somebody like sit there and read out the card to us, but whoever, decides to put forth the money to go for this and win it, they have the ability to remove somebody from the block. And it seems as though that person who, I guess, wins it is going to presumably be safe. But then whoever the Renom is going to be totally random out of the remaining candidates, which this is just really just throwing a grenade into the game.
Dislike. I don't like this, but you can give this video a like. Right?
You were really on the ball with these today.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't like this. I like there to be strategy. It's my favorite part of Big Brother, when you're throwing things in that are just chance. Who knows who's going to end up on the block? I'm kind of like, bleh.
Yeah, and that's where things get so, because it's conceivably, possible that we end up with 2 cookout members on the block after all of this is said and done, depending on, who wins this roulette, what they want to do with it. It sounds like Sarah Beth just kind of wants to have it used this week because it would be good, presumably, for this week or next week. And it sounds like she just wants to get it done and over with. Yeah,
so she kind of wants to burn it, but at the same time, it kind of burns her own HOH a bit, because if she really is behind her 2 nominations, which I think are just kind of like, nah. They are Kylan's repeat back up on the block again. I mean, maybe this is her way of getting someone else on the block where Kylan doesn't really have a say in it. No one really has a say in it, but I mean, you're still taking a chance here.
Here's where, if there's a scenario, and this is very unlikely, where Xavier somehow ends up on the block here because of Renom roulette or whatever, maybe Sarah Beth would be thrilled with this, because then it's like, okay, no blood on my hands. I didn't do it. He's up there. Guys, if he's up there against Derek F, are you really going to get rid of Derek F over Xavier when it's everybody can beat Derek F in the end?
Or she ends up in another type of situation where she gets somebody up that she's not really after.
Yeah.
Like Kylan. It could happen, right?
If Kylan goes home on Sarah Beth HOH...
Well, because that's the thing, right? If you've got Kylan up who's won a whole bunch of stuff, and he's smart, and he's charismatic, and everybody likes him, and you got him up against Derek F, and you have to choose a cookout member to go home, I think Derek F is going to be okay.
Yeah, he can continue to just lie around in the house because Kylan is going by.
Yeah.
Like, that is it. And the other part of this that obviously is going to matter to some extent is the veto. Like it's hard to pinpoint exactly the order of how everything is going to work. I think we can probably assume that this is going to happen either pre-veto or the veto is going to be played after the fact, and
Yep.
that will probably hold some blah 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 blah. Okay, that will probably hold some authority in the game. Just pretend that. I couldn't remember what word I was actually going for, so I was just like, I'm just gonna turn this around now.
All right, that's all right. You hit the curve, and it's all right. We're all here for it.
Yeah, we're all here together. So apparently, Sarah Beth still has a chance to have some sort of power this week, but of course that all depends on the veto
Yeah.
and everything else presumably that happens.
Yeah.
Okay, now we come back to the let's all be very, very worried about Derek X portion of this video.
Yeah, I mean, well, what are you gonna do? I mean, everybody really does like him. He's won a lot. I don't know. He's not gonna win the game. I really wish that he would, but he is starting to get to a spot where he is just gonna have to win his way to the end, and that's just not really possible.
He's got a really hard decision to make right now because it's sort of like I think we can all assume that people are going to continue to give him a lot of BB bucks.
Yeah.
But if he continues to get a lot of BB bucks, that could make it harder potentially for him to play in the one next week if he uses them this time around. So what do you decide to do then if you're him? Do you want to run the risk that you end up on the block this week on Sarah Beth's HOH?
Save your bucks.
You don't know what's going to happen here. You still have a chance maybe to play for the veto. I just think if that next one is like the big all-powerful sort of power, which I don't know, it's the coup de whatever.
Yeah, we'll really see. I feel like they can, shift it around depending on who gets it.
The final target at the end of all of this, if Sarah Beth has her way,
yeah,
I could see it being Claire just because she's on the block. Alyssa is also a name that has come out. Derek X.
Shocking.
Yeah, like Derek
X. I mean, I really understand. Like, he's not that much of a shock. He's a good player. He's found his footing. He's very social. He's won a lot. America's giving him a bunch of BB bucks. Like, he's in a position that I wouldn't want to have him in the house.
No, he's just such a dangerous player. So I understand everything that is going on in Sarah Beth's mind right now.
I get it. I don't like it, but I get it.
And so ultimately, we'll see what happens on the rest of the week. But I hope we would all at least be on the same camp that the more drama we get, the better off we're all going to be. Even if you are a Cookout fan, let's see everybody sweat it out for a couple of days here, maybe.
Yeah, I think it is important to have that for a really big alliance. Any big alliance needs to have just a little bit of a push where they do have to sweat it out and get to the other side of it. So when they eventually win the game, you're like, yes, they had some adversity. They got to the other side of it, and now they're like an extra good winner because they didn't just kind of like get to the end because they're just rolling with a great alliance.
All right, well, let's turn this over to you guys now. If you were Sarah Beth, who would you nominate, knowing that this is probably one of the worst weeks possible to be HOH, given that you got this Renom roulette nonsense?
Yep.
There's still the veto, but give us your strategy, give us your ideas, and of course, like we've said, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well. Check out our other video content.
And our Instagram, Matt and Jess TV. We are almost at 2,500 followers. Woo! Look at us influencers.
We just called ourselves influencers. We'll see ourselves out. We'll see you guys here next time.